protesters with me. Not near one of these officers is wearing a name tag showing their identity. This here is illegal.
Yep, that's a flashbang. Flashbang.
What we're doing is in Portland, we have a very radicalized group, and we have it so under control. We have it under control. The local police have not done the job. I think they were told not to do a job, but we have it very much under control.
What's extraordinary here is not simply that individual officers aren't being identified. It's that the entire force is somewhat identified. We've learned more or less, because the information has leaked out, that what you basically have here are a small number of people whose sort of regular job is protecting U.S. facilities like courthouses, supplemented by essentially immigrations and customs officers, members of Department of Homeland Security. And while the federal government is permitted to utilize personnel from one agency for purposes that are not strictly speaking part of that agency's portfolio, again, there's no good reason for the federal government to withhold that information from the general public.
I'm going to do something that I can tell you, because we're not going to let New York and Chicago and Philadelphia, Detroit and Baltimore and all of these, Oakland is a mess. We're not going to let this happen in our country. All run by liberal Democrats.
When state and local authorities are not cooperating, the leading precedent, however, is the Civil War. And so in the absence of open rebellion by the states, there's really no precedent for this kind of use of force. So it's extraordinarily unusual for the federal government to send in troops, essentially, without an invitation from, much less in the face of opposition from, state and local authorities. Here, the pretext is going to be protecting federal courthouses, even though the president and actually other high-ranking officials have said quite specifically that they're just taking over local law enforcement, which is not a federal responsibility. But I would not be surprised if going forward, the administration's lawyers give us a very different account.